Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another film review. And today's film review is the final in the Deadpool trilogy. We are here with Deadpool and Wolverine. So, what is Deadpool and Wolverine about? Well, playing after the events of the Logan film, which, before we get into, I think you should go and watch before you continue with this video. But essentially, Wolverine's dead. Yep. In Deadpool's universe, in the Fox universe, Wolverine sacrifices himself so that everyone else can live. But Wade is not satisfied with this. He believes that old Wolvie is still alive in the flesh. And so he attempts essentially to try and bring him back from the dead. But when he digs up the grave and realizes it's only Wolverine's adamantium bones that remain, Wade gets very, very pissed. However, due to him messing with the timelines, the TVA decide to come and try and hunt Wade down. Wade decides to pretty much chuck all of Wolverine's bones at them and then escape in a portal. Now, in the beginning of the film, it's quite unclear how Wade managed to get the time machine technology, but later on in the film that's explained. So let's go back. Wade and Vanessa are having a very rocky time in their relationship. They have decided to break it off, especially after the fact that Wade always seems to end up getting bullets shot at him, and Vanessa isn't too happy about this. Now, technically, Vanessa should be dead because she died in the last film. However, Wade done some timey-wimey bullshit using Cable's kind of time device and brought her back to life. Now he has to live with the consequences that their relationship is so flawed that maybe it's better off if they move on. So rather than being just an average day superhero, Wade tries to go and get himself a job and ends up working for a car place. However, he feels like there's more to his life than just selling cars, so he tries to go to the Avengers in hopes that they will help him have a purpose. Happy Hogan pretty much says to Wade that he can come back to them when he feels that he has something valid that he can bring to the team. Wade then makes a silly joke about using the Hulk fist as a, well, what way to put this? As a Tommy tanker. Anyone who understands Cockney slang will know what I'm talking about there. But essentially, yeah, so he's masturbating. Wade then goes back to his house to find him having a party with Vanessa and the rest of his friends when he's rudely interrupted by the TVA. He believes them to be strippers and so jokes about them all going in a line down the hallway, doing the human centipede. They then drag him into the TVA where he is told that he could be Marvel Jesus. The TVA give him a brand new suit and everything, but he must help them avoid a cataclysm. It turns out that there is a woman who is trying to break out of the unknown. And due to the fact that there is no anchor being in Wade's universe, it will very soon die. But Wade comes up with a solution. Finding out that the anchor being was the Wolverine, he tries to use one of the time devices to go looking for a Wolverine. He goes through multiple realities where we get a really beautiful montage of different versions of Wolverine. And most importantly, the Calverine. He also picks a fight with the Hulk when he finds the novel from Wolverine versus the Hulk. And eventually he settles on a Wolverine who seems to be drinking himself silly in a bar. When he brings this Wolverine back to the TVA, they say that not only did he go and get one of the worst Wolverines, he got the very worst. He got the Wolverine who was a coward and ran away from a fight when Jean and the rest of the X-Men were slaughtered due to X-Men's constant fight with the Sentinels. Wade and Wolverine are then pruned and sent to the Abyss, in which they begin to fight in front of a giant dead fox sign. A hint at the fact that Deadpool no longer works for Fox, he now works for Disney. So, as in the words of Deadpool himself, suck it, Fox. Deadpool and Wolverine then get captured along with the person who they believe to be Captain America, but we soon realize is Johnny Storm. They then come into contact with a woman named Cassandra Nova, who seems to be the basic queen of the Abyss. She's hoping to use any way of getting out. She even decides to try and use Goliath against them. Eventually, after escaping her wrath, Deadpool and Wolverine come across a group of outsiders from her clan, such as Blade, because there'll only ever be one Blade, X-23, Elektra, and Remy LeBeau. They call me the Gambit. Eventually, they team up to try and take down Cassandra, and this goes swimmingly. Then end up back in Wade's reality and soon find themselves facing Paradox once again, the asshole who put them in there in the first place. However, whilst Paradox is having a problem with Cassandra Nova, they find themselves face to face with a bunch of Deadpools. Wade then chucks one Deadpool in front of the others as a shield, to which Wolverine gets really pissed at him because obviously he killed him. Wade makes the excuse that he didn't know that he didn't have regenerative powers because he believed that every Deadpool out there always could regenerate. Then he takes his Golden Eagle pistols and decides to try and shoot down a bunch of his alternate selves. Wolverine also helps him mow them down with a beautiful song playing in the background. Wade then goes to make the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the film in trying to stop the machine, but instead Wolverine intervenes and manages to get himself locked inside. Eventually, with the power of friendship, they manage to save the world. After defeating Cassandra Nova and Paradox, they then send them back to the Time Variance Authority to stand trial. Wade is then allowed to live in his universe, at least up until it all converges and merges with the main timeline in Avengers Doomsday. So, Deadpool and Wolverine, what do I give this film out of 10? It is the film that I love to see. It is the film that I absolutely was over the top when I got to watch it in the cinema. And most importantly, it is the film I feel like we've been waiting for years. Why? Because Wolverine is finally wearing a fucking comic book accurate costume. Yes. Fox. Why? Just why? It was sitting there. There were hints of it, and you never got him to wear it. Why did it take us to this bloody film for it to happen? I also like that a lot of the other characters got to be comic book accurate, and I feel like that's what won me over with this film, and that's why I'm going to give it a fucking 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next film review, you beautiful people. Till then, goodbye. Stay beautiful, you beautiful people.